Subjectivity and objectivity. Very, very quick and dirty. Subject of a sentence. John. Verb is a man. That describes John, right? John threw the ball to Mary. Mary's the object. She's getting the ball. The ball's an indirect object, right? John is still the subject. So the I, or the individual, is the subject. An individual's experience is their subjective experience. And what we do in psychology through various methods, through various approaches, is try to probe the subjective as methodically as possible. Objectivity is John threw the ball to Mary. I am doing and I'm giving away. I'm separate from Mary. Objectivity is that old objective in science, to remove oneself, to test a hypothesis, or to propose a hypothesis, to test it, see if it's what the outcome is, and then report on the findings. That is objectivity. So in postmodernism, we can say that the individual's experience, or the individual's worldview, is very important. And one thing qualitative research methodologies like grounded theory attempt to do is not hypothesis test at all, actually the opposite. Get information from a person, a subject, about their subjective experience, and try not to interfere with it in order to get the most accurate description of that person's subjective experience. Now, in pure kind of qualitative research, this probing somebody's experience and questioning them about it and then interpreting it, that's called phenomenological research, phenomenology. Comes out of the German school of phenomenology, Heidegger, and phenomenological psychology also is a discipline within its own right, a very small one. You have Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, University of West Georgia. There are people that do phenomenological research in psychology. The famous Dr. Georgi at Duquesne, that's his specialty. But Chris Anastus in West Georgia. There are other ones. However, it is the subjective experience. So, and the reason I teach this is because I think a lot of students really want to really know what other people are thinking, their experiences from that person's point of view. That's subjectivity. And a lot of postmodern ideas, methodologies really stress the importance of subjectivity. There's another part of subjectivity you really need to understand, and that is when you are a researcher. For example, when you're doing ethnographic research, or that kind of observational, that what I called naturalistic observational research, when you're doing that, you also want to reflect on your own subjectivities, your own issues, if you will. Where were you stuck? Where were you judgmental? Where did you come up against your own barriers? How did you overcome them? What were your roadblocks? Also, you can extend that and start to reflect on, it's called reflexivity. Reflect on your experience, or reflect on the profession of psychology and what role a psychologist has as a researcher. That's all kind of these postmodern research methods. As I said, if you look at a lot of feminist research, you see a lot of describing their experience, their story, their subjectivity as a major part of the research. I remember reading a friend's dissertation, feminist dissertation, where he wrote a feminist paper, describes his process of coming to become a feminist, and how that in and of itself is a feminist research methodology. So you'll also see this a lot in African American studies, gay studies, GLBT studies, Asian American studies, any kind of area that is describing the experience of a contemporary people who are going through a shared set of challenges, circumstances, histories. And that whole line of research, of looking at a particular group's history, what is that called? My class knows. What kind of research method is that? It would be more like a discourse analysis, critical discourse analysis. And we look at the history of an idea, right? And what's that called? It's called the genealogy of an idea, the genealogy, the history of an idea. Who's the basis of that work of genealogy of ideas? Which philosopher or psychologist forms the basis of that work of discourse analysis? Michel Foucault, very good, Michel Foucault. They're talking about Michel Foucault. His writings form the basis of discourse analysis. Discourse analysis starts to look at the history of an idea. Okay, that's enough for that subjective subjectivity.